Hi guys, this is Katipo for HOSNG.com, and I'm here playing Ace Spades, high stakes reg, and he is declining me at 300s, 600s, and everywhere else, so I just sat him at 1.2Ks. I don't have a lot of reads on him, I've only played him for maybe about an hour and a half. But he does seem a little bit tight overall, both post and pre, especially in the big blind. Of course, this could all be sample size still. Pretty sure a high stake rig is not going to have a VPIP of 45% in the big blind versus a frequent button opener like me. Well, that was a nice change. So I will note, there's some League of Legends stuff there. I will note that he four-bet shoved a7 off verse 2.2. Three bets. It's not at all remarkable, but there are some people that call. I don't really believe he's 45% here, so I'm a little bit torn about raising this hand, but this is the information I have at the moment, so I'll go with it. Even if he's not 45%, he's probably not 60% either. That is very weird. I would say probably has a pocket pair. I'm not gonna call not even being a full flip. So he would have about 51 to 52% of the pocket pair, assuming the pocket pair is not sixes, which I don't think he ever does, or fives. Yeah, like really, who in the right mind would shove all in with those hands? Versus me, it doesn't make any sense. I 3-bet shove a good amount. I'll have my ace deuce, ace three, ace four, and I'm gonna be 3-bet shoving. So, and of course ace five plus. But I'm saying that where he absolutely crushes. A very odd check back. It's a board where he knows that I probably don't have both a six or an ace. So him checking back here actually makes me think he has a king high that's better than mine, but I don't think he'll fold it. Or he's just trapping, most likely case at this point. He's betting at all. So I don't think he should expect me to look him up very light, so even if king high is almost always good there, it's not worth a bet. Alright, his limping range has been all over the place, but almost always folded to shove. Versus some that's actually a call if they're just shoving every single suited connector and just connector in general. That's good equity. The annoying thing is he does barrel quite a bit, and that makes my call less good compared to somebody that checks back because I can't take a lot of pressure. If I had something like a queen on queen jack ace or something, obviously I would be much more likely to call. Not afraid of future cards. There I'm a lot more afraid of future cards. So his barreling is pretty frustrating because it will sometimes have to just fold the best hand. And shoving, while of course okay, uh, it can just put him in a spot where he makes a perfect decision. I've used this sizing on multiple boards like this, both with bluffs and with strong hands. So there's no read for him that, oh, he bets small, he must have air. And another thing I've noticed, he hasn't actually raised my c-bets all that much, so I think he's trying to strengthen his calling range. And rightly so, because I've definitely been barreling him quite a bit. Yeah, so what we can see is still that he's playing a bit passive overall. I would expect people to do bet shove a lot more on me, actually. I don't min raise a ton at this stacked up, so I think he'll consider it strong. That's why I would sometimes like to just shove it. Right, let's see if he goes for round three. Okay. He's gonna have a lot of 6-7, 8-7 here, so I would actually consider, if I had a better backdoor or anything really, I'd consider sometimes checking back because they don't usually uh, have a good opportunity to bluff those as much. Yes, they'll bluff on the turn, but they won't be able to three barrel very easily. So I can sometimes just call the turn and have them shut down. And after they shut down, of course, I bluff. Or I can sometimes even raise the turn because again, they don't have that much equity for only one more card to come. And anyway, one thing I'd like to say about blackjack poker is, even though it's a small site, and honestly there's never any recreational player playing at this high of a limit, it has the best cash outs for US poker by far. You get your money within about a week on a debit card where you can just route it directly to your bank, and the money's always there. There won't be any bounce checks or anything. It's in a prepaid card, and if you've got the card configured, it's always a 100% thing. So I really enjoy that about this site. That's really by far the biggest attraction for it. So it doesn't have the biggest player base, it doesn't have the best software. I'd say Merge has better software, but their cash out's going to take a month or sometimes more. This is a pretty weird spot because I don't want to get it in here if he actually shows. So I'm wondering what to do. I mean, I'd obviously fold, but I'm wondering what to do uh, as a c-bet because I might actually like sometimes c-bet smaller so that he can't shove as easily with some draw that is actually worse than mine, which he's probably not going to really shove, but still, just in case. Well, I'm not allowed to fold here. Oh, that's too bad. Why not? You know, I seem to be running good here. The truth is, we're actually pretty even overall. Actually, he won, in terms of EV, he won probably more than I have. Let me see. Yeah, in terms of EV, he's, no, he's under EV. But he's not under EV from the previous games, he's just under EV from the games here. I wonder how long this video has been. 10 minutes? Okay, about 10. This is kind of annoying because again, I feel like I would normally get barreled here if I call. But I was planning on possibly raising turns. And would have been the turn. Okay, the check is fucking weird. Oh shit. Ah, it's weird for the reason that he doesn't have a jack when he checks. He couldn't. Okay, that was really bad. He could have had a 40, he was gonna turn a bluff. That's the only reason I would check there. One, he doesn't have a jack, so I'm not getting value from that, and I'm not really getting value from a 4. Most of the time, I think he will sometimes call, but he will fold the river with 4, and he'll have still his weakest draws, which he might bluff with. He knows, or he thinks he knows, that I never have a 7 or a king if I check, but the truth is, of course, I can. Because the value bet is not really getting value, as one would say. There are some pocket pairs I get value from, but pocket pairs are overall a very tiny percent of what he's raising. And I think people would sometimes just barrel the turn with pocket pairs, again, to get value from gutters, to get value from some hands like that, and because their hand is still vulnerable. I'm going to check back. Too easy for me to get in trouble here. I mean, in trouble being I don't realize any of my equity, and he's bluffing, and I don't know what to do, that kind of thing. And I will look like a 7 or an 8 here, so pretty easy bet. This honestly is not too far from a shove, but it can be called just fine. And here he will expect me to check raise any 6 and possibly even a 3. So once he bets, I am going to actually check raise. To 95 is, I think, reasonable enough. He's going to shove probably some gutters, stuff like that, but he's also going to have to fold. And if he calls, it's okay. I have overcards, and I'm not going to call off, but like future barrels or anything, but it's okay. Not much to say here, the blinds are pretty shallow. This is so weird. 9 big blind limp. From a reg, this is so often strong. Yeah, I'm not gonna call because I'm gonna get barreled way too much. And he'll just have some really nutty hands to do now too. It's slightly nitty on my part, but I think the only way to play that if you are gonna do something is probably just to shove, unless you've got a super nitty button player who's not going to be barreling. Queen 7 is just really borderline there. I don't know if I would really call it. Anyway, that'll be a video, so good luck in all your games, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry there weren't more interesting spots to help you with. I'm just gonna keep on playing this guy a little bit.